with you guys?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Have any of you ever read Because Amelia Smiled? You've read it? Anybody else? Okay, great. This is new to pretty much everybody. Please don't spoil it. All right? Thank you. Is it okay if I read this one? Okay, cool. So, it starts and it says, because Amelia smiled coming down the street. Mrs. Higgins smiled too. She's got to run into a rainstorm. She thought of her grandson, Lionel, in Mexico, and baked some cookies to send to him. Because Mrs. Higgins baked cookies, can you see I'm so great? Lionel ate one of her cookies in Mexico. He decided to share the rest with his class. And teach them an English song about cookies. Because Lionel taught his class a song, one of his students, kickboxer Sensacia Colepes, decided to be a teacher too. She had her cousin record her in the plaza and put the video online. You see, she's flying across, like she's a real kickboxer, I guess. Zesta Crump and her ballet club in England saw the video and decided to add some new moves to their goodwill recital. So they're putting together a dance routine in England, and their recital is in Israel. Kaz Gluberman, age 4, who was in the audience at the dance recital in Israel, decided he liked dancing after all. Can you not see?
No, I think I saw it before you.
Okay. At bedtime, he danced his brother Ichabod to sleep. Because Kotz danced him to sleep, Ichabod slept all the night through. In the apartment next door, Betty Marlinspike, glamorous Roomba queen, got a great night's sleep. She woke up in a good mood and took the band to get their hair done. Oh. In Paris. It's a long way to get your hair done, right? To go to Paris to do that. The band felt so fancy they gave a free show on the Pont Neuf. On the barge below, Gregor the ex-clown listened and sighed. Their love song, Con Corazon Intacto, reminded him of his old flame, the amazing Phyllis, who lived in Positano, Italy. I know, I'm getting a little confused too. They're traveling all over the place. The next morning, he bought a bouquet to send to her with a note that said, Phyllis, after all these years, will you marry me? Phyllis was so happy, she threw roses from a high wire. She was caught on film by a TV crew that was doing a story on stray cats. So she's up on the high wire. You see her up there? Yeah.
That's big.
Yep, it's way up there, isn't it? I think she has a cat with her. Yep, stray cat. Back in New York, Lydia Frittata saw Phyllis on TV while making pizzas on Carmine Street. Back in New York. On the subway home, she began a scarf of roses for her niece, Pia Marie. She sat across from Pigeon Man Jones. He watched her and remembered his dear old grandma who loved to knit. There's Pigeon Man. When he got back to his rooftop and let his pigeons out, he wondered if maybe somehow, wherever Grandma was, she could see them. Because Pigeon Man Jones let his birds out, Amelia saw them. And she smiled. Pretty cool, huh? Do we have time for one more, Abigail?
Yeah, you can. This is your last stop, so you don't have to be. You
Okay.
can read till 4:15.
Can you pick out a good book for me, please? Or do you guys want to pick a book?
Do you have one you want to read here? You haven't done this one today.
No, I have
plain one?
not. The Magnificent
Yeah.
Sheep Flying Machine. This is one of my favorites.
We'll have to get back on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
other one, so we'll have to get the other one so we can see it closer,
Yeah,
don't you
yeah,
think?
it's hard to see with, it's like a
It's
painting.
far
yeah.
away and
So this is
kinda
those
confusing,
magnificent sheep
actually.
and their flying machine. And it says, the sheep on the hillside were munching away, much as they did day after day, when suddenly something went zoom overhead. Let's go and see what it is, they all said. So Lambert and Eunice and Marty and Mabs and old Uncle Ramsbottom, Bart, Ben, and Babs skipped to the hilltop and saw down below. You guys see this one better? It's sheep. They're cute, except for old Uncle Ramsbottom. He's not very cute. Dozens of aeroplanes all in a row. There were men with mustaches and goggles and spats, and ladies in splendid, colorful hats, and jolly brass bands playing Pom Diddle Dee. An air race, the lambs cried with glee. A bright yellow airplane stood nearby. How spiffy, said Eunice, to fly in the sky. No one will mind if we take a quick peep. So one by one, into the plane jumped the sheep. Yeah, this is not going to turn out well for the sheep, is it? Oh dear, muttered Mabs. It's a bit of a squeeze, but there's enough room if you tuck up your knees. Move up, Ben, said Eunice, but Ben didn't budge. Old Uncle Ramsbottom gave him a nudge, which made him bump Lambert, who bonked into Babs, who banged into Marty, who bashed into Mabs, who bleated Oh Brother and biffed against Bart, who butted a little green button marked Start. The engine went chuggity chuggity cough, and old Uncle Ramsbottom cried, "Let me off!" But the plane quickly started to trundle downhill, and faster it trundled until old Uncle Ramsbottom, Bart, Ben, and Babs, and Lambert, and Eunice, and Marty, and Mabs caused all the people to gasp and to stare as the bright yellow airplane took to the air. "I say," cried a gent with the silver-tipped cane, "some thieves in the white sweaters are taking my plane." "Ah!" cried the sheep as they swerved and they swooped. "Oh!" they all groaned as the plane looped-de-loop. They did a steep nosedive and rolled a few rolls. Then old Uncle Ramsbottom grabbed the controls. "Why, hey!" he exclaimed. "What a lark! What a thrill! This beats eating grass on our boring old hill. The world is our oyster," he cried out in glee. "Let's see a few sights." They all cried, "Yippee!" They canned in, here we go, we're going around the world again. They canned in France and flamoqued in Spain, till a furious bull chased them back to the plain. They flew over Egypt with rumbling tummies. So they stopped for a picnic and woke up some mummies. In Tibet, little Ben found a mound of spaghetti. He chomped a great mouthful. "Run! It's a Yeti!" An old Maharaja sat stroking his belly and said, "Come for lunch at my palace in Delhi." But they soon scuttled back to the plane in a hurry when they asked what's to eat, and he said, "Mutton curry." You guys know what mutton curry is?
No.
Sheep stew. They sat on a log in a Florida swamp, but the log in this swamp wanted something to chomp. What is the log? It's an alligator, yeah. "Where next?" said old Ramsbottom. "Minsk, Timbuktu, Saskatchewan, Zanzibar, Kalamazoo. What about Chile or China or Rome?" But the other sheep all shook their heads and said, "Home! We miss the old field. We miss the old hill. We miss chewing grass. We miss standing still. Travel is fun. Every person should try it. But there's no place like home if you want peace and quiet." A little while later, the chap with the cane looked up and cried, "Gosh, it's those thieves with my plane." He ran to the field and leapt over the gate, stared all around and sighed, "Ah, brother, too late." Father, too late, I'm sorry. For there was the bright yellow flying machine, but the thieves in white sweaters were not to be seen. There were only some sheep who were munching away just as they did day after day. That's the end.